Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the EUR/USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's jump right into it. Let's look at Forex Factory. So today is Wednesday. We have high impact news, which is CPI, at 7. So in a few minutes from now, this is 7 a.m. UK time. So in about 26 minutes from now, maybe by the time you watch the video, the high impact news will have already occurred. So we only have for the pound, we don't have anything for the US dollar. So let's jump into the charts and see what we can expect. All right, so in general, we understand that price has been in a downtrend, okay, in this pullback phase. Now it's in a downtrend because we've had a break of structure. We are reacting from this area of demand, and we've come back up, and we are still respecting this area of supply, which is the decisional that led to this break of structure or swing structure on the daily, on the EUR/USD. So price has been mitigating, reacting, mitigating, push up, mitigating. So as you can see, we had our first mitigation, and then we had a deeper mitigation. If price decides to continue coming up, then it's likely that it's gonna cause this zone to fail. Okay, but as it stands, the zone is still holding. Okay, it's still holding. So that's what we have. That's what we have. So price is at the top of the range at the moment. Okay. So on the pound, it's a similar story. We've been pulling back. We're still in this uptrend on the swing range, or based on swing structure. Okay, the daily is still bullish, so it's still an uptrend. However, we've been pulling back. We've mitigated this area of demand, and we've come back up, and then this area of supply, which resulted in this fractal break of structure, is still holding. Okay, it hasn't been violated. However, same thing where we have one mitigation, and then we've had a deeper mitigation, and possibly if price decides to continue coming up, then likely this supply area will fail. But as it stands, it's still holding. Okay, so price is at the top of the range as well on the pound. So let's look at the 4H on EUR/USD. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. This is our internal range. All right, I won't look at the swing because we've been looking at it since Monday. All right, so this is the range that we're interested in right now because this is where current price is. So we've mitigated top of the range. We've had a reaction. This was that was some kind of break of structure, right? Internal break of structure officially now, okay, because we've had a candle close. All right, however, you can see we had kind of a sweep, and then price came back into the range, and then now officially we did have a close, and then but we now have a bearish candle, a bearish engulfing. Okay, so as soon as we had that bullish close above, so who knows what the price is going to do next. Okay, so let's see, but this is the range that we're in. Okay, this is the range that we're in. So expectation is that if the trend indeed is going to reverse, okay, if this internal trend is going to reverse from bearish to bullish, then we expect that price will continue until it violates this internal high. Okay, so the important thing is this is the range we're in, and internal to that range price is bullish. Okay, so we're breaking structure to the upside within that range. That's the important thing. So looking at the 15-minute, that internal range is the swing range on the 15-minute. All right, it's the swing range on the 15-minute. So that's what we have. Boom, boom. Okay, so within that range, we've been breaking structure to the upside. Okay, we did break low, where we broke here, and then we resumed the bullish trend. Okay, so this was a sweep, mitigated these areas, strong push up, and then now we've been kind of trickling back down. Yesterday was a slow day. There wasn't much movement yesterday, but eventually after the sweeps, then eventually price has come up. Okay, so let's zoom in to see the details. Let's zoom in to see the details and what we can expect today. So yesterday we had this area which was a sweep, and then we're expecting price to I was looking at price to come and mitigate maybe this area down here. Okay, sweep this area before going long, or at least come back and sweep this area again. Okay, and then we go long. However, I did that, and of course eventually it did come up. So for a 3-to-1 trade, this was enough. Okay, on the lower time frames, 5 minute to 1 minute, you would have caught a 3-hour trade. And then if you would been targeting these relative equal highs, then price would have just gone against you one more time, because it then had a bit of a reversal. Took out these longs, so anyone who was long from this area, they were taken out, and then before price doing finally pushing up to take those highs, after our session kills on. Okay, so that's what happened yesterday. So looking at today, what can we expect? So this area is still holding. Okay, that area is still holding. Of course, it's been mitigated, so we could look at it that way. Okay, and then let me remove that. Okay, so what do we have? What do we see? What do we see? So internally, this was the range. So we had our break of structure, push up, come down. So we are still respecting this high. Okay, we're still respecting this high. We haven't reached that high yet. So that is my weak internal high. Weak internal high. So this is what we have. Okay. Weak internal high. So expectation now is, because price tried to come down. Okay, so we had a sweep. Okay, we took out these highs. Okay, so we took out these highs. All right. Price came down, broke structure, came back up. It had a sweep. Okay, and then came back up, broke structure, came back up, broke structure. Okay, so we've been breaking structure to the downside, and then now we've finally broken structure to the upside. Okay, and not only this high, but this high as well. Okay, so and then we do have this relative this other high as well at the top. So we have resting liquidity at the top, which could be a target for price. So what I will be expecting, or what I'll be looking at, is that this area will likely be targeted. Okay, will likely be targeted, as well as us having a weak high as well. Okay, so let's look at where we are right now. Okay, so this is the range that we're in. So we've already swept these lows, right? Boom, and then went on to make a high. Okay, so because we've made a high, let's see, boom. So price has already mitigated this 50%. of the range. Okay, so price has now come back into discount. Okay, now because price has come back into discount, this would be a clear and obvious zone. Okay, that would be a clear and obvious zone for price to react from. But we have not taken any significant structure as well. So yes, I'm targeting these highs, but what I would want to see is probably these lows taken. Okay, for me to have at least high conviction with this setup, probably want to see these lows taken. Boom. Okay, so if that's taken, then look at the lower time frames to see if we get some kind of confirmation. Then I'll be willing to take that trade. Okay. Other than that, all of these areas down here, they kind of have been mitigated. So price can react from anywhere in this range. Okay, anywhere down here, price can react from there. Okay, I'm not really worried. The main thing is once we sweep, and then if we see any structure downside on the lower time frames rather, confirming or showing us that there's interest by the bulls to take price higher, then I'll be willing to jump onto that. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. So pretty much I'm looking for this to be swept, and then once that happens, then looking for lower time frame confirmations, and then look to go long, possibly targeting this high and this relatively equal highs as well. Okay, I think that's a clear liquidity pull, knowing that this is a weak high that we have at the top. All right, so that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'll be looking to see. If price doesn't sweep this area and then just starts to push up and possibly takes out these areas, then it means we'll have missed the long trade. Then maybe if it just continues, maybe takes out this high, and then maybe continues to take out these highs as well, then I may then be looking for shorts. Okay, at that point, I may then be looking for shorts at that point. Short term as well. Not necessarily looking to trade to hold for a long time. Okay, as you can see that this bearish momentum price hasn't really pushed it down. Okay, so we've had a very shallow retracement. Okay, so it's likely that the price is willing to push and to go. Okay. Alright, so those are my ideas. That's what I'll be looking at today. So let's look at the pound. We do have CPI in a few minutes from now. So looking at the 4H. Alright, so looking at the 4H, this is the range that we are in. That's still holding. The range is still holding. So that's the range high, range low, and internally in the range we've been pushing up. Okay, so we've taken structure to the upside. Then we do have these lows, or rather we do have this zone down there. Okay, so price internally is bullish. Okay, so remember we're only worried about what we can trade intraday or intra-session. So that'll be the main thing that we want. So okay, that's what we have. Done. Alright, okay. Alright, so this was my break. Okay, for this is sub. Okay, so I'll say SIB. All right, so this was a clear break of structure. This one is a fractal break of structure. A break of structure nonetheless, but you would have less confidence in this one because there's no intent. Okay, there's no clear intent. All right, so we just had a sweep and prices pulled back. Now, of course, we have this imbalance. We've filled part of the imbalance. Now we have this low, and then we do have this zone at the bottom. So I could actually cover both of these basing candles. Okay. All right, so this is what we have. This is what we have. So price now looks like it's coming down. Okay, so let's look at the 15-minute for the details. Okay, let's look at the 15-minute for the details. So this is what we have. This is what we have. So we have this area of resting liquidity at the bottom here. Okay, now I could look at it and say, okay, we also have trend line at the bottom here. So 15 okay, so we have a week low, session lows, a trend line. So we do have lots of liquidity that's resting right here at the bottom. Okay, that could be taken, and then the swing range is bearish. Okay, our swing range is bearish. This is the swing range that we're in. Okay. So price has mitigated the top of the range. Okay, we had a sweep. All right, so we had a sweep both on the 4-hour and on the 15-minute. Okay, no structure break. And then I was waiting yesterday, hoping that price would, or rather anticipating that price would probably come up to these areas. Sweep this high and then, look for shorts, or sweep this low and then look for longs. None of that happened. Okay, none of that happened. So price was pretty much ranging. Okay, price was just pretty much ranging, and then of course breaking lower, and then now we've had a break of structure to the upside. We have still respected this sweep here. Okay, so let's see what price is doing here. So we do have this area. All right, we do have that area. Boom. That's being respected. What happened there? So we had a sweep, boom, which led to a break of structure. Okay, a sweep first, and then eventually a break of structure. Okay, and then that was also swept, and then led to another break of structure. And then now, after that, now we've had price come back up with the break of structure and respecting this area. Okay, so now we've had a sweep, and then price is coming back down. So it looks like we are. So we had a sweep, boom, the 15M, and price is pushing down. Okay, price is pushing down. This is the range that we're in. So this is a low that I'm still suspecting or expecting to see get swept at some point. All right. So this one is pretty tricky, to be honest. This one is not as clear. All right. So we had a sweep, we broke structure. We had another sweep, we broke structure. Okay. So we're still respecting this high. However, we've broken structure here. Okay. This is structure within structure. So right now it's a bit tricky to see what price could do. Okay. So right now I don't have a clear direction on the pound really. Obviously right now price is waiting for CPI. Okay. So CPI is in a few minutes. So after CPI happens, then so we could have price, come down, sweep these areas, and then possibly we look for longs, or price could just shoot up. Okay. Or price could just shoot up, take out all of these, and then we could start looking for shorts again. All right. So for now, we'll have to see how price develops after the high impact news event. But I could be looking for longs if we sweep these lows and then get structure that supports going for longs on the lower time frames. Or we could be looking for shorts. Okay, could be looking for shorts if price just goes up and then during our key time window, uh, we see anything that supports going short. All right. So those are my trade ideas for today. Other than that, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know how you are finding value with this material, how you're using it in your own trading. Otherwise, have a good day, and Working Trader out.